It's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. Now, today's video, we're going to be checking out the debut video from Scribe.
Ooh.
Okay, so this is the song Raising the Dead. Now, people will have heard part of this song because it's actually, the first part of this song is actually what is used in the A.D.K new intro. So we've been drip feeding you Scribe for the last few months just to get it in your head. There you go. But yeah, so this is the first musical video that comes out on January 10th, which is when this reaction video, review video is dropping. Now, I won't have much to say as I filmed it and playing Scribe, so I can't really comment, but I'd love to get Andy and Kirk's viewpoint on this video. Andy, you were also involved in the video, so you had the pleasure of doing a bit of acting, etc. But you've not seen any of this footage yet.
Not seen the footage. I haven't even listened to the teaser track, unfortunately, you've put on the social medias, other than, as you say, the intro to our channel here. So this will be interesting.
Yeah. Why am I so nervous about this? I have no idea.
Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, fantastic. Best thing I've heard this year.
But I do want honesty. So honesty is really
course.
important. And I will answer any questions about anything on there, because I guarantee that if you pick on anything or anything, there's probably in the back of my head, there's a reason why something might be the way it is. But yeah, let's go check it out.
Because we're raging the day, 100 years of a resurrection. Who wants your body when you are dead? The fresher, the better, more cash in your hand. Will you turn to murder to fill your quota? In the day of the night, is coming. Your body's in our hands. Better start running, because we're raising the dead. 100 years of a resurrection. Who owns your body when you are dead? The fresher, the better, more cash in your hand. Will you turn to murder to fill your quota?
Oh dear. I had to put that last bit in, sorry. That was an outtake where we were filming that last little scene in the studio, and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm putting that at the end of the video.
It's perfectly.
Right, there we go. Kirk, I'm going to throw this over to you then.
Yeah, first thing, I really like the dirty guitar sound that you've got going on there. So there are two guitar players in the band, obviously Yusuf and then Mike, who we all know from Scarlet Envy. Did you write the riffs for this song though, Dave?
They've been slightly changed, but generally yes. So this was an interesting song because without the vocals are different, but the Raising the Dead chorus and the pre-chorus were vocally written by me. Although Kim changed some of the wording on the pre-chorus to fit the topic. The verses were new lyrics and new vocal lines. The song structure and main riffs were already written. Even the solo was Mike. The twiddly bit at the end of the verses, that was me. It's a weird one. There's actually, this song is also available on the Dave Does channel and was released in January 2022. There's a video for that, and you can hear the alternative version of this, how it was written before we gave it to Scribe. But yeah, this is the one that was probably the closest to being a finished track before we wrote it for Scribe. So it was a fairly easy one for us to transpose across.
What guitar tune are you using? Are you in C flat?
What are we doing? So this is on 7-string. Are we in A? I think we're in A on this.
A. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I like the guitar work in it. Tasty guitar solo. The best part of the song, you just called it the pre-chorus, or we could call it the bridge. I think that's a change of key almost, isn't it? That it really shifts the song. But in some ways, I do have a criticism. Because the bridge is so good, I feel that it doesn't really release the tension in that chorus. It sustains it. There are too many lyrics that Kim's trying to cram into that. And it doesn't quite hit the spot for me. But I think that might just be because it's such a shift with the pre-chorus that it really makes you sit up. So I think that's the ultimate triumph of the song. But the chorus, it doesn't feel like a chorus to me. It's almost a bit flat after the glory of the bridge. Great rhythm to it, energy, tempo. And like I said at the beginning, I really do like the dirty guitar tone. It's quite heavy, this, isn't it? And when you listen to Scarlet Envy, Mike uses a lot of techniques from black metal and melodic death metal, but they're a bit cleaner, aren't they? Here, you've left that in, and it really does work well with two guitar players. Now, I would enjoy listening to this with headphones, with guitar one in the left speaker and guitar two there, because I can hear the different parts. I'll give you an example. Last night, when I was walking to the supermarket, I was listening to Super Unknown by Soundgarden. That's a perfect album with panning. You can hear which guitar player is playing which part, and you pick up on things that you wouldn't normally hear without the headphones. So I would certainly enjoy it for that. In terms of the video, I like the grain effect and the joke you've made there, the Hammer horror reference, the Technicolor. And then to me, it looks like Edwardian London, 1911, 1912. And there was some quite amusing acting in there, especially when Dan is kicked in the testicles by his girlfriend.
Yes.
And also, did you film that at St. Lawrence near Shaw's Corner, the abandoned Norman church?
Yeah.
Thought so. Yeah, because when Mike's got the spade, obviously you couldn't show him digging into ground because he won't be allowed to do that. So I appreciate what you've done to get around it. And I was always going to ask, who is the body wrapped up? I don't know. Did you actually have Yusuf wrapped up in there and carried him round? Surely not.
No. So we have. It's a foam dummy that we then wrapped up and tied up in a sheet, and then shot multiple different times. And then I think Andy was looking down at one point when he was making some notes, just when we did the actual cutscene to Yusuf's face. So we did when me and Andy were filming it, we lift up the sheet, and then in the studio, I had to film it again at rehearsal and set the lights and everything in the room and do the lifting, and did that a few times. And then that's when he started doing fuck arounds. And there's some good outtakes from it, from the studio of that one. But then I had to try and color match that as though that was in the same room. So that was a challenge. But luckily we shot that little scene with Yusuf right at the end, about a week after we'd actually filmed the rest of the stuff. So it didn't take that long to put the video together. It was about a day. I think by the end of the next day, I had pretty much the whole story, and it was then just trying to sync up everything to make sure it flowed okay. Because it's purely a story-driven one without any performance. You've got the tempo of the song. The challenge for it is the tempo of the song is quite fast. It's not like a slow song, so you can't have long 10-second flowing camera panning. It doesn't match, so you have to go da 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 da, change da 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 da, change da 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 da, change. You've got to change on those tempo beats, otherwise it doesn't feel right. Because we had longer passages, and we were like, it feels it's dragging at this point. We need to cut to another scene, which is really interesting for me and Andy when we were doing the surgery room scene. That's just 1.5. That's about 1 minute 10 seconds worth of footage. And actually, a lot of those scenes were just cut and then dragged back and put at different points. So we've actually used bits of the same footage just cut at different angles and from that scene at different points throughout the whole video. And I had to do that quite a lot with a lot of different things because we had some real challenges on the day with lighting, which was stressing me out a lot on that video shoot. I was getting very stressed.
Do you know in the mix as well here, it's inevitable that I'm going to compare it to a reference point, Scarlet Envy. Did Dan insist on the bass being a lot louder in this? Because you can really hear the chugging low-end strings. I love that in the mix. I think that's it just doesn't really come through in Scarlet Envy, does it? His bass members here, it really carries it. Like when you listen to Killing Joke, the bass lines in their early stuff, it's actually the bass that's carrying it.
So the mix-wise, Yusuf's pretty much been given free reign on the mix of the album. We give little bits of feedback, but generally he'll go off, he'll mix. He's doing track by track at the moment. So Raising the Dead was the first one he mixed, sent it out, and then we kind of either said that something might sound a bit too loud, but we were happy with the bass being louder. Mainly also because we talked about the fact that we've single tracked each of the guitars, so one's left, one's right. So that bass needs to be more stronger just to fill that weight. So, it worked quite well. And then the rest of it, I mean, the funniest thing with the recording of the album is when we get the vocals put on, because what you hear in rehearsal, and then when you hear it on the album, because you don't hear all the harmonies and stuff in a rehearsal studio. So then when you get this thing back and go, wow, there's like 11 layers of harmonies on this song. Where'd they come from? You're like, shit, okay. So you kind of, it's always been interesting with each of the tracks that's been so far mixed when we get all the things, because there's always extra things that I haven't heard or we hadn't discussed. So it's always a little bit of a, oh, okay, that's where we're going with it. All right, that's interesting. Okay. So, it's been fun. It was fun to do, but cool. Andy.
Really enjoyed that. I mean, it's obviously, as you said, I was involved in the video shoot, and if we start with the video, yes, like you, Kirk, the sort of opening scene, the sort of the stock footage and the sort of grainy effect looked really, really professional. And what I thought on the day, Dave, you got these shots so quickly. It was like one take, and I'm thinking, well, I didn't do particularly well there, or Mike could have done something a bit better there, but you were obviously happy with it. And it's amazing what you can do with those 10-second shots that you were doing, 15-second shots. Because as you said, splicing them up to very short sections that match the sort of riff of the song and the pace of the song worked really, really well. And the intersection between the two, the different scenes throughout the story, I just thought that looked really, really professional. And the sort of, obviously the lighting, what you saw on camera was not what was the ambience of those Cambridge City streets, for example. You put something on there, adjusted, all the technical stuff that you do
Yes.
is just really, really good. So, as an accompanying video to the song that I have much pleasure to be involved in was really, really good. Enjoyed that a lot. The song itself and this whole project, the band, obviously I know that it features 3/4 of Scarlet Envy. I wasn't honestly knowing what to expect for the sound. I thought, is it going to be sort of Scarlet Envy with you and Yusuf, but with a sort of concept and a theme, historical theme, which is obviously what the band's all about. But it is very, very different. I'll say that. Simpler, more accessible riffs. Particularly in the pre-chorus and the chorus, very, very memorable. Mike's solo was excellent as well, though it's not a typical Scarlet Envy one. He sort of turned down the technicality aspect of that. And like you, Kirk, I agree. Good to hear the sort of bass coming through as well in the sound. It's a very different project from Scarlet Envy, which I'm pleased about. Otherwise, I don't think it would have worked for you guys. And it's a really, really strong introduction to this band and this project. I'm looking forward to seeing the live performances next year and the rest of the tracks and the full album. You should all be very proud of that. And so the video was the main thing for me because it's your video that you produced. I feature in it. I was there on the recording, and it's just interesting to see how you put all these little snapshots together to make this story that accompanies the story that's flowing through the lyrics of the song as well. I mean, there are some sort of typical Scarlet Envy. Kim's vocals are lead in the song. They're high in the mix, and there's her typical laugh midway through as well. But yeah, I thought that was excellent, and I'm not just saying that as your friend and colleague, but that was surpassed my expectations for what I was expecting. I'll say that. Yeah, honestly, really, really enjoyed it.
I mean, as far as the video, I think, the challenge we had, because Kirk, you wouldn't be aware of it, but we set a time, and there was two things about that video. Was one, planning every shot out in advance. So for about a month beforehand, every night when I was going to sleep, I was running every scene in my head, and then I'd be like, okay, so if Mike's walking along there, if Kim's against the wall there and Chloe's there, what I'll do is one shot this way, then I'll do a shot from behind, then I'll do a foot one, like they did in the old TV program The Bill, where you've got the feet on the pavement. That would be really cool. I'll do that. That will give me a shot there. Then I'll do a close-up of Mike's head. And even like the stock footage, because originally the stock footage idea wasn't there. The idea was Mike was going to take this body. And I was like, well, where's this body come from? Has he already dug up a grave? We need to know what the concept is. So where did this body come from? And I was like, well, what's the first verse? Fresh from the gallows. Right, so it's someone's been hung. But we don't know that. And also we need a long intro, because there's a long intro before the lyrics come in. So if I start having Mike with a body before the lyrics come in, then you're questioning where this body is from. Has he just been a grave robber already? So we needed to tell the story of getting new bodies from somewhere else. So that's why you see the stock footage of the person. She gets hanged. The strap or the rope suddenly goes tight, and then the next thing you see is Mike carrying a body, and then it goes fresh from the gallows, and that's why all that stock footage. The filters. There was a couple of problems we had there, which was when we got there, I'd asked everyone to be ready for 7:00. We got there for 7:20, by which point the sun was already starting to come up. So we'd started losing, because we'd set ourselves 25. I'd set myself from 7 to 7:30 to capture the morning dark shots. We started filming the very first part, and if you not watch the video again, you go through it, you see Mike walking along to the door, and there are street lights on. After, when Andy comes out to buy the body, there are no street lights on, because the fucking street lights turned off when we went to shoot the next bit.
Cambridge? Is this Cambridge where
Yeah.
What time did you meet? For our viewers, we should say, at St. Lawrence, where you filmed the scenes where he's digging up the body.
Yeah.
That's in Hertfordshire. It's near a place called Wheathampstead, in between Welwyn Garden City and St. Albans. And how long were you there for when you were filming that scene, and what time did you choose?
So we filmed that.
I was there early. Bernard Dave.
So we did Cambridge at 7. We'd finished Cambridge by 10 to 8. So we were there 50 minutes in total to get most of all the Cambridge scene shots. We got over to the old Lawrence Church by 5:30. well, by 9 o'clock, I think. 'Cause we were there by 9. We were done there by 9:45, and then we went to film the rest of the scene. So I think we were done by 11:30 that morning on all the shots. And the thing is again, the important part is like from the scenes point of view, all the scenes were in my head. And I'd run them so many times. I'd added scenes and taken scenes out so that when we got to actually filming, I knew all the scenes I had to shoot, which is why I could do them in one take and go, walk, 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 walk. Great. Next one. Can you walk again? Walk, walk, walk. Chloe, look this way. Chloe, look that way. Because I knew where they were going to drop in. Where it's harder is if you haven't planned those scenes out, you're then just filming loads of stuff with the idea that you're going to put it together later. So when I got to editing, I'd actually shot all of the shots in sequence. So when I dragged and dropped it all in, it was just a case of drop, cut, drop, cut, drop, cut, and then it was just it took me half an hour to line up the whole sequence, and then it was just a case of syncing it up to the music. The color correction issue was a big problem, so I had to color tint it. So I made it colder to take out any warmth from the scene, so I made it colder that way. I softened the exposure. So what I wanted it to make it feel like was that it was a film from the 1970s being shot. So it was basically about the late 19th century being shot in 1970 is what I wanted it to feel like. I wanted it to feel like a bit of a Hammer horror style film setup. That's the kind of vibe I was going for. I didn't want it to feel too crisp. I didn't want it to feel like you were having a modern take of a film, because it was meant to be set in the 1880s sort of time period. So that's kind of where I shot everything the way I did. It was the hardest bit was the Lawrence one, because it was daytime. It was 9 o'clock in the morning with clear skies sort of thing. You're like, well, how do I make this feel like it's dawn? So yeah, lots of filters, lots of challenges, but got there in the end, and I was happy with the end result on it. And no, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. So yeah. Now, for you at home, if you enjoyed the video today, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.